Hello, hello, hello. Hey Maya, how you doing? How's your day and evening going so far? Hopefully, hopefully things been going well for you with sales and everything. What's up, Carl the Lazy Reseller? How you doing tonight? How's y'all sales been so far today? For me on eBay, it's been pretty slow. Um, I just got one sale, but I want to say I only had two sales a day on eBay. Everywhere else is pretty good, but eBay has seemed to fizzle a little bit. Scott, what's happening? Don't come over here starting no bullcrap, Scott. We ain't going for that over here, bro. Go start that ish somewhere else, man. I do got a couple topics for today's show. Talk a little bit. I got a short video. The video itself is short. I want to get through it. It's about eBay and some other places. The channel I got it from is pretty small right now, but it's actually I think it's a pretty good produced video. I don't know if I said that right. The video itself was produced pretty well. Let's say that. But also I wanted to just talk about. I mean, if you looked at the little topic that I put in my thumbnail, UPS layoffs, your diet being on Slim Fast, or not your diet, your business being on Slim Fast, going on a diet. It's what you do, huh, Scott? Well, you can't just be doing that, man. You can't be trolling everybody, bro. You gotta control yourself. You can't keep trolling, you know. Start promoting that 50%. I'll do it as soon as you do, man. We'll do a test and we'll see what happens at 0. Then we'll go to 50. Then we'll go back down to 25. We'll see what happens, man. I settled on 5%. I ain't giving eBay no more than that. It seemed to work pretty well, honestly. And today is the first day I listed on eBay, probably in a week and a half. And despite that, I still was getting decent sales. Like it wasn't like a total off the cliff type of thing. So, you know, but I'll give it another minute or two before I really start getting into the topics. Please, please feed eBay for me. I don't want them going for my profits. Yeah, God forbid, right? I, I think I start at this point. The way I'm looking at it now, I don't. I'm pretty much settled with eBay on what they're doing, and I can't. So here's kind of how I look at it, right? So I still do. What's up, Mike? What's going on, bro? Thanks for coming in tonight. Um, so for the makeup and stuff and health and beauty, right? Now on eBay, it definitely still sells, but it's a couple things. One, if you don't have the higher sell through beauty products and you don't have a large store, you will struggle. So while I got some lower dollar items still left because I just didn't take them down yet, I took a lot down that I'm lotting up and I'm selling off like that. And I'm not listing those like that no more. Unless it's a high sell through like skincare product or health and beauty product, I'm not putting it up. Plus, I'm changing up the types of items I've been putting on there anyway. And as far as I'm concerned, the amount that I promote, that's just the part of the fee. So when I calculate the profit, it just automatically is kind of. So right now I'm settled at 5%. So that's just part of my total fee amount for them. And whatever I continue to list after that, it has to be able to give me the profit I want with that fee included. And I ain't even tripping on that no more. That's just kind of what it is. That's the way to do business. You know what? It just kind of forces you to adapt your business. And I think for those that do adapt their businesses, who need to, not everybody needs to, but for those that do, I think those that stick it out and adapt their businesses, they'll come out better for it. You'll come out a better seller, a better entrepreneur. You'll learn a lot in the process. You'll probably end up coming across some new sources, all types of things, because it's going to force you to, start thinking outside the box. And probably for those, who the promoting thing kind of hurts more, you either going to adapt or not, man. That's just that. But anyway, so let's get into the topics. We'll start first off with the UPS thing, right? And the reason I wanted to talk about that is that UPS, let me see if I can find that article again. UPS laid off 12,000 people, right? And they it was mostly, from what I can tell, if not all, contractors and management, which is kind of the same vein of eBay. A lot was like middle management, contractors, but that's kind of where they start at, right? So like what these types of businesses will do, like the positions and things like that they can do without, when things were good, they might have been useful, but since things aren't good, they can do without it. Those are the ones that get cut first. But this is also a part of the consequences of, the union and the increases in pay. And I'm not saying people shouldn't get paid or nothing like that. I'm just saying, though, I don't think people think that far ahead sometimes. Like, for instance, in California, Scott, you know about this. They want to start paying people $20. Pizza Hut is laying off their drivers. That's just the first step. A lot of places are going to start laying off even more people, cutting more jobs, because I'm not going to pay 10 people $20 an hour to stand around and flip burgers or flip pizzas or whatever it is, right? So it's going to have a trickle-down effect. And for those who like, yay, we getting paid, well, it's going to end up hurting more people in the end, I think, than it's actually helping. Now, let me see if I can get back to this article. So I found this article on NPR. Well, the story's kind of like all over the place, but the link I had posted was on NPR. All right. So it says UPS will cut 12,000 jobs and release a revenue outlook for this year that sent its shares down sharply at the opening bell. The company also hinted that its Coyote truckload brokerage business may be up for sale. The Teamsters in September voted to approve a tentative contract agreement with UPS, putting a final seal on contentious labor negotiations that threaten to disrupt package deliveries for millions of businesses and households nationwide. On a conference call Tuesday morning, CEO Carol Toomey said that by reducing the company's headcount, UPS will realize $1 billion in cost savings. $1 billion. It's a lot of money just for cutting 12,000 positions, huh? UPS also said Tuesday that its board approved an increase of 1 cent in its quarterly dividend to shareholders. All right, that's enough of that. But so UPS, eBay, we can probably go down the gambit of companies and cuts that's being made. So what's up, Freya? Hope I said that right. How you doing tonight? Thanks for coming in. The main point is that company after company after company is making cuts, right? And they are doing it starting off with probably I guess you could call superfluous positions, right? Things that's kind of already is there, but we really don't need it, right? And so when we see this as smaller, much smaller business, I guess technically we wouldn't even be considered a small business because we don't have a bunch of employees. I think Small Business Administration considers small business those that have like a certain amount of employees doing $1 million in revenue. But either way, as entrepreneurs, when you see these cuts coming, what does that mean? That means we should be probably taking steps to fortify our own businesses, right? So I'll just give y'all some examples of some of the things that I'm doing. And then you can kind of think about what you got, because everybody has something different going on in their own businesses, right? So, for instance, you already seen my post about VQuo. I'm not the first one to start using it. Mike been using it. He been told me about it. Leaf been using it. But something as simple as that, to put a little bit of shipping money back in my pocket, right? And having that connected to my cash back credit card. At the end of the year, I estimate I should be close to, I don't know, maybe $1,000 in savings from those. We'll see. We'll see. That might be high, because I mean, 1% is a lot, but I do a lot of shipping. But even if it's anywhere between 500 and 1,000, that's $500 to $1,000 that I would have been spending on shipping that I get back in my pocket. Another thing I'm doing, I was just talking to my accountant. So I pay him $250 a month, right? So that's what, $3,500 a year. So I'm like, look, I don't have employees. I don't need you to do payroll, of course. So like pretty much all I do is, he got my books, my QuickBooks account is through him. But I'm like, what would the price difference be if I paid for QuickBooks myself, which is fairly cheap? A single individual account for QuickBooks is fairly cheap. And then I just pay you every quarter, because right now what I do is every quarter I just download all my monthly statements for the quarter from each platform, put them in a folder, and I mark them Amazon, eBay, whatever, Q1, Q2, whatever, send them off to him. Then he just makes sure that all my books is reconciled, all the numbers is right. That way I can look at it and get a picture of like how a solid picture of how my business is doing for the quarter. So I'm like, if I just do that, I pay you for the quarter to, put everything in and make sure everything is right. And to do my state taxes, which is really nothing because all the taxes are collected through the platforms, how much would that be? So he's just like, all right, well, let's just see. I'll go through and I'll let you know, and I'll get you a quote on that. And because I'm like, look, if the difference is significant, let's just say, for instance, I save $50 a month, right? If you say, look, this is how much it's going to cost per quarter, and it's $50 difference. Well, that's what? Is that $600? Is that extra $600 a year, right? So that's another $600. So with shipping and that, and this is, I don't know what he's going to say, and it might not even be that much, but that would be almost $1,000 to $1,500 I would say, right? But you just kind of go down the line, and things that you may have been loose with spending, you just tighten it up. If you don't need it and you can do the work, see, some people, where's the lazy reseller? Where's he at? Is you still in here, man? Carl, lazy reseller. You don't want to be lazy, though. You don't want to be lazy. I'm sure that's just his name, but some people just don't want to do the work. But here's the thing, though. Let's just say, for instance, you're not even necessarily struggling, or your business can still afford the expense. If you can do the work and it's not going to slow your business down by much, maybe you cut the expense anyway for a while and do the work yourself. For instance, maybe you was using a listing service. Maybe you was using a cross-posting service. Maybe you was using a VA. I don't know, whatever it is you guys is using, right? Maybe you just do the work yourself. And if it was an expense that you still can afford, what's up, Josh? How you doing, buddy? Thanks for coming in tonight, man. I appreciate it. And if it's an expense you could afford, but you cut it, then you take the amount that you was using for the expense and you put it towards savings or something like that, right? For a rainy day or just in case things go bad. You just never know. So the point is, if you don't need it, but you can use it's useful, but it's not necessary to the survivability of your business, then maybe you just go ahead and cut it off. You know what I mean? But don't cut it off and spend the money on something else. Take the money you were spending on it and put it into something else, a savings account or something. And that'll be your rainy day fund or a fund you can use. Maybe you come across a good purchase. Who knows? You just have it on the side. Depending on who you listen to, it could get better. It can get worse. You just never know. But that's kind of two examples of what I've been doing besides cutting off some different subscriptions that I really don't need. I like having them, but I don't really need them. And if I don't need them, I'm not using them. I usually, heck, even in my personal life, I used to just keep apps like Sling and all of that and just be paying for them and not really watching them. Now I only watch them during the football season. So when the football season's over, I cancel the subscription. I come back during the season. So that saved me. So why would I spend, let's see, I want to say Sling is up to like, I don't know, 56, 57, $58 a month. We just round that off to 60. You're looking at what? Almost 720 a year, somewhere around there, 612, about 720 a year. So if I cut that almost in half, football season is let's say August, September, October, November, December, January. Yeah, man, about 6 months, 7 months or so. So I save myself about $300 something in my personal expenses. Why keep it throughout the year when I'm really not watching? So that's kind of how I've been looking at it, man. And so when I make the statement of putting your business on Slim Fast, or your business need to go on a diet, that's what I mean, is cutting out the excessiveness, cutting out anything that's not necessary, and helping your business become even healthier. Even if it is already healthy, how can it get healthier? How can you get rid of those empty calories from your business? You know what I mean? Calories that, yeah, it might not kill you, but you really don't need them. Do you really need that chocolate chip cookie? Do you really? I know it tastes good. I know it do, but you don't really need that. But when I look at companies making these cuts, and they've been telling us over the last year or two that things was all good, and we wasn't in a recession, and but every time you turn around, they making these cuts, and people still demanding more and more money, and it's not going to get a whole lot better if we keep spending and spending and spending. You know what I mean? It's not. It really ain't. Things will look like it this year because it's an election year, and I ain't trying to be political. I'm just stating facts. Y'all know how it is in an election year. Everything, all gas go down. Everything all of a sudden seem okay, but then as soon as the election's over, yeah, it go right back to what it was. You know what I mean? It's all good. All right, cool. Steelers. What? Ho. We gotta stop for a second. Hey, Scott. You can't be speaking that name, bro. You can't be. Don't be bringing that team up unless you talking about one of the greatest, or you putting them in that like vein. Only a Steelers fan can speak negatively about a Steeler. About the Steelers team. No, nobody else can, especially a Dallas fan or somebody like that. Come on, man. You sinning, bro. You need to repent. All right. So look, you distracted me with that nonsense. So look, I got another video that I wanted to go over, right? It's a really good one. Let me see if I can get back to it real quick. Also, tell me in the comments, ma'am, if you guys are making cuts, what's some of the things you thinking about cutting out of your business as far as expenses go, and some things that you think that you can do without and still maintain, a level for your business that it will continue. Because I don't necessarily, and Josh said this, I know you said this on your live a few times actually, that now is not the time to grow. I think for many of us, that's the case. That could be, different types of business. But I think I can agree with that, because I like I said, if you're going to cut whatever expense you end up cutting, that's why I said put that money into the savings so that you can have a cash reserve. So if you already got cash flow and the cash flow is good and your profit is good, focus on building your cash reserves. And if people start getting out the game, getting out of reselling, opportunities is going to come up. Opportunities are going to come up, and you want to have cash on hand so that you can be able to take advantage of those opportunities. So, Josh, I definitely agree with you that if your strategy was to grow, it might be a better strategy to adjust that sum and to start thinking about having a little bit more money in your coffers. You know what I mean? All right, let's see. So this video comes from a channel, and I'll leave a link in the bottom and make sure I do the credits and things. But it's called Oriental Economist. Like I said, it's a small channel, but the production of the video was decent, though. I liked it.
For nearly 3 decades, is second only to Amazon in eBay, a well-known online retailer existing for nearly 3 decades, is second only to Amazon in global recognition. Despite being the 23rd most visited website in the US, with over 600 million monthly visits, its legacy and popularity are its main strengths. However, behind the scenes, eBay has faced a prolonged decline throughout the 21st century. Notably, the only significant surge in eBay's stock in the last 25 years occurred when they spun off PayPal in 2015. Apart from that, the stock has remained mostly flat, except for a temporary boost during the pandemic, which has now subsided. eBay's current revenue is on par with its 2010 figures, and the situation is even bleaker regarding net income. In the recent past, eBay incurred a negative 12-month period with a $1.2 billion.
All right, first, I just wanted to comment on that part. The fact that the only real jump in their stock was when they sold off PayPal. That's just ridiculous when you think about the growth in stocks of like Walmart and Amazon and the rest of their competitors. Even I was watching a small I don't know if you would call it a documentary, but just a small news story about Temu and their growth, how they paid a total, I want to say, of $14 million to get those Super Bowl ads, and how they're just, man, the growth is ridiculous. And it's only going up. They're still in market share. You got websites like Shein. All these websites are on the upswing. They're on the upswing. Those are newer, of course, than the Amazons and the Walmarts. And Walmart still got a long way to go, but that's even more scarier. The fact that a behemoth like Walmart still has a lot of room and market share, and they're growing. They're continuing to eat into it because they're chasing Amazon. Amazon, as far as the online retail stuff goes, got 30-something% of the market share. I think last time I checked, Walmart was around 7%, but those numbers might be different. So y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. But the point is, all of them are growing. But eBay, the last really significant increase they had as far as their stock share goes was when they did that deal with PayPal. And this isn't to knock on eBay, but this is important, because this is information that we got to take in, because this will influence our decisions going forward when it comes to our reselling business and the platforms that we sell on, because you want to be able to sell on where you're going to have the biggest opportunity to sell your item. And the biggest opportunity, depending on what you sell, it just might not be the one that most people like to sell on these
dollars lost, though it has since returned to profitability. Despite this, the financial performance hasn't significantly improved from a decade ago. One notable strength is eBay's net margin of 27%, surpassing Amazon's 3.62%. However, investors seem more optimistic about Amazon's future, reflected in its high PE ratio of 80 compared to eBay's modest PE ratio of 8. Even IBM, with a PE ratio of 21, indicates that investors are nearly 3 times more optimistic about IBM than eBay. Given analysts' perception that eBay is almost obsolete, its underwhelming valuation isn't surprising. The primary concern revolves around a sharp decline in sales, particularly notable in the past 6 months.
Look at that right there. Now, this is going only back to 2020, but we know that number, as far as like buyers and things like that, still go down, or it's still going down. And the majority of the revenue that they've been gaining has come from promoted listings. So it hasn't come from gaining new customers or even from innovating or expanding the platform in any real way. And so there's the lessons too that we can take from this as solopreneurs, who are, out here trying to make a buck selling used items or refurbished items or liquidation, is You can't become stale as a business. You cannot become stale because somebody is always on your heels. Somebody's always on your heels. Somebody's always trying to take a piece of food off of your plate. You know, they're trying to take the whole refrigerator, man. And if you start sleeping and if you become stale in your way of thinking, if you become stale in the way that you do business, if you got the mindset that, oh, we'll just keep doing things, this always worked, I always did it this way, eventually, not only will you start to decline as a business, but your competitors are going to overtake you. They're going to overtake you.
Various theories circulate, such as the resumption of student loan payments, reducing disposable income, and the impact of inflation and high interest rates on people's savings. Some sellers even suggest a potential cause for the sales decline is an eBay algorithm change in April. The overarching question remains, what led to eBay's decline? While these explanations for eBay's decline may seem plausible, the evidence contradicts these theories. Amazon and Walmart continue to report record-breaking revenue, while eBay's revenue remains relatively stagnant. Persistent concerns about declining sales have been voiced throughout history, often seen on platforms like Reddit, where sellers frequently assert that sales are worse than ever. However, this doesn't necessarily invalidate their claims. The true challenge in selling on eBay seems to stem from intensified competition rather than macroeconomic factors.
And so, you know, this is all public information. And at the end of the day, when I'm thinking about how the direction I want my business to go in, these things. We could talk about sellers and you know, in that whole area of eBay, you know, the bad sellers. But it's not just the bad sellers are exacerbating the problem, of course. But the real issue is that eBay is stale. There's nothing new coming out of eBay. Again, I'm not leaving eBay. I'm not talking about leaving eBay. I'm not suggesting anybody leave. All I'm saying is you got to have a vision, and your vision has to look beyond. I know a lot of people, you know, got their reasons why they don't want to go to marketplaces like Amazon and Walmart, but like none of those reasons to me ever seem like logical. Oh, because it's harder, or you get gated, or there, you know, you can get suspended. I mean, yeah, if was a fifth, what, right? We all be drunk right now, but you know, it ain't, and I ain't. So I don't try to live. One of the things I don't try to do is live my life by, like, I'm the type of person I got to see for myself. Sometimes that's a positive and a good thing, and sometimes it ain't. It has gotten me in a lot of trouble in the past, especially in my youth, because I was the type, like, you got to show and prove. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to not do something just because there are some obstacles in the way. Because what about the opportunity, right? So what are you sacrificing in opportunity by just branching out? And so my whole message through all of this is just that, especially for the complainers about eBay, the complainers, while you got Amazon and Walmart sellers who say the sales have been slower, I don't really hear them complaining about it. Sales for me on both platforms have been good. I ain't even got no complaints, but most of the complaints come from the eBay sellers. And this is not no knock for eBay sellers specifically, but what I'm saying is, if you're going to complain about how the platform is doing A, B, C, or D, well, there's other fish in the sea, and these fish are actually growing and taking up more space than eBay was in the sea of online retail or online e-commerce, right? There's more opportunity out there.
2009, eBay had 2.1 million annual active sellers. And today, it boasts 18.3 million, a nine-fold increase. A comparable situation exists with Amazon, but a crucial distinction emerges. While Amazon's revenue has surged by 22 times since 2009, eBay's has only grown by 15%, largely attributed to rising fees. Examining the gross merchandise volume on eBay, it is lower today than in 2013, without accounting for inflation. Given a 43% increase in prices since 2009, the apparently flat revenue might indicate a 30% decrease in units.
See, did y'all hear that? It grew, but largely attributed to rising fees, not new buyers or nothing like that, but fees. It's crazy. That's crazy. That's not a sustainable business model for the long term. That's not a sustainable business. That'll be like us reselling and raising our prices while everybody else is kind of staying at the same and being competitive, and you keep raising your prices. What's going to happen? You're going to go out of business. Nobody's going to want to buy that product. Nobody's going to want to buy that product because it's cost too much, right?
Sales. Considering eBay's decline in overall transactional revenue, the actual unit sales might be down by up to 40%. With a 9-fold increase in the number of sellers, it's understandable why sellers frequently lament decreasing sales. The reality is that securing a sale today could be 10 to 15 times more challenging than it was in 2009, primarily from the seller's perspective. On the buyer side, eBay's user base has been diminishing, with no uptick even during the pandemic. The peak user count was in 2018, reaching 175 million annual users. Presently, eBay's user count has dwindled to 129 million, a significant drop of nearly 50 million users. A simple Google search for "I will never buy from eBay again" yields numerous results, contrasting sharply with platforms like Amazon, Walmart, or Craigslist. While those platforms have occasional negative threads, eBay's prevalence in such discussions is striking. The combination of anecdotal evidence and the substantial decline in user numbers suggests that these threads aren't solely expressions of disgruntled customers. Instead, they highlight a systemic issue with eBay. This leads to the question, why are customers so discontent?
Hey, that eBay, those eBay complaints remind me when I was working at Steak and Shake. Like, if you ever looked up complaints on Steak and Shake, not just, I ain't talking about like my store, but I'm just saying Steak and Shakes in general. There was always so many complaints about Steak and Shake, man. That's how eBay remind me. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. But I mean, the fact of the matter is, it's true. And so when people think about the people that don't complain, right? Think about all the people that didn't complain and all of those disgruntled customers, sellers, whatever. I mean, look, I ain't going to go through this whole video because it'll take me all night to get through it, but I just wanted to kind of start it. If y'all get a chance, though, y'all should just check it out. Like I said, I'll leave a link to it in the bottom. Let me stop sharing the screen. I'll leave a link to it in the bottom, but my whole point in bringing that up is obvious, right? Like, the opportunities are out there, man, and I don't want to, be making videos or keep making videos like, you guys. Like, I don't want to be like the taskmaster type person. Like, I know I made some videos like that, but I also just want to make a video that's kind of like, you could say encouraging, but not necessarily that. Just helping people see that, first of all, you got to be courageous enough to take a chance. I know people was talking about, I don't know if y'all seen Raw Star Flipper video talking about Lindy Glenn and her issues with her bin store. It went out of business. But I remember I was watching that video, right? And I'm like, well, the one thought that came to my mind was like, at least she had enough courage to go out there and try it, right? Now, there's all types of reasons for why things went the way it went with her, right? Some probably out of her control, and some is just like, people are crappy. And then some mistakes and some things she probably could have done better. But at the end of the day, if she didn't let those things or whatever obstacles was in her mind initially stop her from going forth to try to at least take advantage of the opportunity. And I think it's the same way when a lot of people think about going off and venturing off into Amazon or Walmart or any other platform, period, or not even necessarily that, but off into another category. If you say, okay, I just like eBay, whatever, okay, stay on eBay. But if you're struggling in them categories, you might want to change. You also got to understand, I think a lot of people just don't look at the times. What is going on today? People are just not in tune with the times that we're in, and what people really like, and just all the stuff that's going on in our environment, man. Even the economic things that's happening, people don't take those into consideration, and that's why you'll get content and videos in the reselling space that just sound ridiculous because the view is just so myopic, man. It's just ridiculous. People are just not thinking. Either they're not thinking straight and using logic, or they're purposely saying stuff for views and clicks, but it's really bad information. And that's one of the things I was listening to Scott Bearded Pickers live. I think he was talking about that. I don't know if that was this morning or his last one. That might have been this morning. But, I ain't comment on it, but he was telling the truth though. You know, people got to be careful who they listen to. Me personally, I need to be around and talk to and listen to people who are going to not necessarily make me feel good, right? I like people who gonna be real with me. Like if I'm messing up or if I'm saying something wrong or something, let me know. But also I want people to inspire me to do more. So I like to be around people who doing better than me, making more money than me, got something maybe that I want but I don't have. You know, one, they got some knowledge, but two, it'll inspire me to like do more. So if you listen in to any type of content where it's just always negative or almost always negative, and it's always this problem and it's never a solution or almost never a solution, that too is going to rub off on you, right? That too is going to rub off on you. Let me go through some of these comments real quick. Scott, you repent every day. You should. Oh my goodness. Oh, what's up, Leaf? Oh yeah, y'all. I'm open. I'm gonna start a Patreon. It's gonna be $39.95. I'm gonna tell you how to get started selling on Craigslist. If you want to get in on the Craigslist rush, sign up for my Patreon. Hit the cruise control button on business for now. Yeah, Josh. I agree with you, man. When you've been sending out in your video, I agree with you. And you do want to make sure your business stays profitable, of course. And it ain't bad to shoot for a little bit of growth, right? But me myself, I want some more growth this year over last year. Of course I do. But I may not be as aggressive as I was initially thinking, and just build up more cash and just have more just in case. You know what I mean? I'm going to run the leanest possible business that I can. And you know, if I can do without it, I do want to be practical about it though. I do want to be practical. Like I said, I don't want to, and I'm not advocating that anybody shoot themselves in the foot. And next thing you know, you bog down with work, and now you really start losing in profitability because now you got just so much to do. But just got to be smart about it. And I say the main cut I've been making is just cutting down the amount of cleaning and stain treating I do. I could imagine that stuff takes a long time, depending on what you're selling when it comes to like shoes and clothes. That's probably, when it comes to shoes and clothes, that right there, besides sourcing, would probably, to me, seems like it would take, you know, one of the things that takes the most time, especially with shoes, man. Shoes seem like they would take a lot of time to clean, unless you're buying newer shoes, or I would think you can't always come across those shoes that's in the best shape. Clothes are pretty easy though. You can kind of throw those in the washer, right? Pretty focused on keeping expenses low, but I had so much ADHD. It's easy for me to get distracted. Listen, Maya, don't feel bad, please. I'm the same way. I was just listening earlier on eBay, man, and for whatever reason, I just stopped and started like sorting other stuff that I got to list up on Walmart. Like for no reason at all. I just stopped and went over there and started sorting. I'm like, what am I doing? Let me get back to listening on eBay. You just got to fight the good fight, man. Fight the good fight. You find yourself doing it, just get back to it, you know? My personal expenses are more of an issue than my business expenses. Yeah, Josh, I heard you talking about that too, because I'm kind of in the same boat. There's some things I can cut in my personal expenses. So I use an app, and I'm listening to my phone. But the app, I think the app is Simplify, right? I want to say it's like $5 a year. And I track all my personal expenses through it. So I got it hooked up to my bank account, my personal bank account. And I like it because it helps me see number-wise exactly how much, because it's easy to spend. But when you see, oh, I spent this much on food this year, or I spent this much on clothes, or whatever it is, right? You're like, damn, I didn't know I spent that much. You know, that hits you a little bit different. And so But it's hard to cut a lot of things in my life too, Josh, because I was listening to you and I said, man, it's the same way, right? Like you got to eat, you need gas, you got to pay your bills. And me, I don't like buy a lot of excessive stuff. I food, most of the time I eat out, but that's because I'm already like here working or something. But I'll go to like, Chipotle, Moe's, places like that. I don't go to like Burger Kings or nothing like that. So I ain't spending a whole lot, but it adds up though. But there's not much I can cut. Like I said, besides like Sling, things like that. So the one thing I did that saved me some money on my phone bill, I got Spectrum. So my phone bill was through Straight Talk. I was paying what, $60 a month, something like that with tax. Spectrum, they said, all right, if you come over to us, $39.99 a month, but free for the first year. What? Say no more. I left I left Straight Talk, man. Signed up. And that was almost a year ago. So I should be coming up on that year promo ending. But it's still at $39.99 a month. So, it might be 40 something with tax, who knows? But it's going to save me almost $20 a month on my phone bill too. So like things like that in my personal life, I'll look for, and if I can save, I'll definitely save. I think real soon here, my car insurance is already low for 2 vehicles, but I might try to hit them with the fake out, like, hey, look, I've been talking to State Farm, they offering me 120, 110. What can y'all do for me? I think I only got like 140, 150 a month for 2 vehicles. It ain't bad, but hey man, if I can save another $10 there, I'm gonna do that too. But business wise, I don't have a lot of excessive expenses, but like I said, I want to see if I can save because I'm looking at my largest expenses. So of course, my accountant is a large expense, right? It's $3,500 a month. This place I'm in right here, this is large expense. This ends up being, this is the largest. Well, I ain't counting cost of goods and stuff, but this ends up costing, I don't know, $4,000 to $5,000 a year, depends, because in the wintertime and stuff, it goes up. It goes up regardless, because in the winter I got to use the heat, so the electric goes up, and in the summer I got to use the air conditioner. But typically, it's only like $3 something a month, anywhere between $325 and $385 ish a month. And it's hard to find another place with all of this space. The one thing I was thinking is if I can find a place that I can set up my shelves at least, right, and have my listed inventory on and have enough room to still do shipments and everything like that. And maybe I can hold excess inventory at home in a shed or something. I might do that, but it will have to be worth it. It will have to be worth it. I will have to have at least $100 or more in savings to do that. But I just kind of go down from my biggest expenses and I just see what I can adjust, man, and save on a little bit. Or again, and this is something I encourage you guys to do, it don't necessarily have to be the cuts, but it can be services that offer things like cash back. It can be other ways if your money's just sitting there, depending on how much you guys got in your bank accounts. Maybe you can get it in a high yield savings account. Maybe you can get it in a money market account. If you got enough, they got, 5 to 7 month CDs sometime that pay 3 to 5%. So maybe you take a portion that you think you might not need if you're willing to tie it up for that long. I'm just saying, but like you got to be creative sometimes and think of the ways, because like this year, I should make over $500 just in interest. For sure, because I made about 3 something, 4 in almost a half a year. And I don't even think that was a half a year. I haven't looked at it, so I don't want to lie to y'all about it, but it was a good amount for the short amount of time. But it did start off at a promo rate. So that promo rate over after 6 months. So I don't know how much it's going to be, but either way, if my outlook is if I make the cuts that I need to make, that I should make, and if I find other ways for my little, employees, which is my dollars is my employees, if I can send them out to work for me, right, and bring back some more dollars with them, if I can do that just one time for each dollar, I'll be in a good position. You know what I'm saying? Each dollar go out, bring back a quarter, bring back 50 cents, bring back another dollar. You know, when my money's sitting in the money market account, it's sitting there, literally sitting there, earning probably down to 3% and something now. So probably a little over 3% compound interest compounded daily just for sitting there. At this point, the increase in shipping, the shipping rates, I already wiped that out. Between using VQuo and I just started using that. So I'm not, this VQuo ain't a big part of this, but I'm just saying, between using that through the course of this year, between interest on my money sitting there, between cash back and all these little small things that ain't even cuts. This is just ways where I get some savings back. That little few percent increase is already knocked out. And so just gotta kind of think of it that way, guys, and try to figure out ways to sustain your business and build up cash reserves. I'm gonna keep saying that. Build up your cash reserves. Build up your cash reserves. Groceries, utilities, property taxes, kids stuff. Oh man, don't even get me started with the kids, Josh. I already know about the kids, man. I already know about the kids. The one thing I'm happy about, I don't have to buy diapers no more and milk. Oh my goodness. There was one point when my daughter, when she was still drinking milk, she had to get the Nutrimygen. I think that's the name, Nutrimygen, like the stuff, you know, the special sensitive, right? Oh man, that stuff was so expensive, dude. I ended up having to go like find it on eBay so I can get it just a little bit cheap. I couldn't wait till she got off that stuff. That stuff was expensive. Now we're done with the diapers. She's about 3.5 and she actually uses the toilet now. So, you know, but the good thing for our kids too, because we got so many boys, especially, we don't really have to buy clothes for them for the most part, because like we just pass it right down. They wearing the same clothes for years, man. So we save on that too. For me, holding back growth is still about sourcing good items. I have space, time, and capital. Yeah, for sure, Carl. For sure, man. Sourcing is always going to be like the most important. That's the lifeblood of the business, right? You can't stop that. And I already got my list of thrift stores, so I know all the stores in the area. This month is, well, tomorrow's February. I'll make my 2 trips, but it ain't gonna just be those. I'll throw like my Burlingtons and Ollie's and things like that in there too, and make my stops. I found a couple good items at Ollie's the other day, but Ollie's seem like they've been struggling as far as like profitable items for reselling anyway. I mean, they don't care. They ain't there for me. Temu, garbage. Use it 2 times, throw it away, purge. Yeah, it's garbage, but it don't matter because people want a deal. Everybody knows it's garbage, but they keep ordering it. They don't care. I haven't ordered anything from them, and I deleted the app off my phone because they kept harassing me with freaking notifications and text messages, and I'm just like, yeah, bro, I don't need all this. But they are super aggressive. Maybe eventually. Oh, that was what they were saying about, and I can't remember like exactly how they put it. So the whole little news story I was watching about Temu. So apparently there's another company in China, right? Big seller, and they got this social like selling site, and it's like this group selling aspect to it, to where you get these mega discounts when you start buying as a group. And so they were saying that looks like the direction that a Temu is going to do the same thing over here in the States, where they add the social aspect to it and they start doing it to where you get group discounts when you make purchases that way. Might not have said that all the way right, but the basic premise of it is it's already happening over there where the company's based at. Really, they got, you know, they say they're here, but they're from China. They already have it over there, and it's big. I want to say they said they had 1 billion users. I don't know, it was something crazy, but they think that's Temu's next step, is to add the social aspect and group buying and offering group discounts when people buy as groups. I mean, listen, whatever you might think about the platform, it's an innovative way to bring in more customers, to get people to be active on the platform. That's the main point, to find ways to get people on your platform and clicking the buy button. That's the main thing. And that is what eBay is lacking. Creative, innovative ways to bring in more customers and get them to click the buy button. That's why they're losing. That's why they're losing. I mean, we already know what Amazon is doing. Nobody needs to go and rehash that. Walmart is being super aggressive. They're using their fulfillment center, or their stores as fulfillment centers. They're pushing and pushing to get more sellers on the site. And I think it's only going to get better and better. The more they start to figure out their platform, I don't know, man, as far as like eBay's future is, they're probably not going anywhere anytime soon, but I wouldn't venture to say it looks bright. That's for damn sure. That's for damn sure. Hell, I just dropped 700 on inventory today, loading up more. Hey, Leaf, my those pallets I was telling y'all about today, I finally made the purchase. That was a little bit over 3,000. So apparently what Amazon make you do, you got to have a seller account with them, and they make you, to buy from them, you have to do it. Well, you got to connect. No, not your seller account. You have to connect your customer account. You got to connect your Amazon customer account. But this is directly from Amazon. So no middleman with no funny business. It'd be my first time, man. So I'm hoping it's good. It was a good risk reward type of purchase. If the stuff is in good condition, like it's supposed to be, and if it's sellable, it's going to be a very, very good reward. And if not, I mean, I'll at least make my money back, but I don't expect it to be that bad. But you got to take a chance, man. It's the only way you're going to be able to go to the next step is if you take a chance. You can't let fear hold you back. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Yes, NPC Oasis. And how you doing tonight? Hit that like button, y'all. Hit that like button. Let me see. Do we even I got one like. Dang, it's 19 of y'all here. Y'all only going to give me one like? Come on, man. If y'all don't hit the like button, I'm going to start talking negative about eBay again. Let me see. My honest opinion, in general, buyers trust Amazon, sell eBay. My wife buys off Amazon, not off eBay. Well, yeah, that's a fact. That is a fact because Amazon holds seller to a higher standard for the most part than eBay does. That's why. That's why so many people say to me too, yeah, leave. And you got to sell on the right platforms, man. It ain't just any platform, you know. You got to sell on the right platforms. Again, it depends on what you sell, right? If you're a clothing seller, then, you know, the Poshmarks of the world will be good for you. But it can't just be any old platform. But I feel like people are missing out on a lot of opportunity that aren't selling on the two. Well, I can't say biggest because I think eBay is still bigger than Walmart as far as like users go. I think, but I ain't sure about that number yet. I ain't looked in a while. But that's like worldwide though. That's like worldwide, of course. Walmart is just in the States. eBay's worldwide, so those numbers don't just reflect U.S. I think in the U.S., Walmart's bigger than eBay. But don't quote me on that. That's why I need everyone to promote. If you don't continue getting them revenue growth, they will go after my basic eBay fee rate. Promote. Hey, I went to go lower my store back down to is it a basic that's after the premium, right under the premium, whatever it is. I forgot they'll charge you, man. It said I would have to pay like $120 for canceling early. I'm like, y'all got me. Y'all got me. So I'm gonna just wait until a couple months until it's like real low. Cause I ain't gonna route it out to the end. I'm gonna wait till it's low, maybe down to 50, $60, and I'm gonna just cut it anyway. The savings after 2 months will be worth it, but I don't need that store level no more. That's the other cut that I figured I could make. Why keep it? So the one thing I was doing, because all the out of stock option, all the items that I had there that was out of stock was contributing to me going over. So I just been ending those listings and getting that number down. And the only way I'll go back up is if after you pay the extra amount for going over your monthly amount, if that starts adding up to be, to where you should just get the premium store. But I'm gonna give it a couple more months and I'm canceling that subscription too. I'm getting some more of my money back from eBay. I think a lot of people too got store subscriptions that they really don't need because they have a lot of junk items listed. If they took those junk items down, they wouldn't need the store level they got probably. People just don't be wanting to admit that, or they want to feel like, oh, I got this big store. And I used to think that when I first started, like a big store was the thing, right? It really ain't the thing though. It really ain't. Them discussing Reddit. Let's see where we at. Yeah, Reddit's a big circle of weirdos. A big circle of weirdos. Question you should ask: would you invest in eBay? Yeah, I don't know if you watched that one part of what I said about eBay stock, but I wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't. I had Walmart stock for the longest though. On my stash app, Walmart stock was always up, and they paid dividends. They was always up. Target was doing bad. I ended up selling that off, and I had some like gas stocks, Sunoco, because they had high dividends. They got their dividends. I want to say it was like 7-8%. So, but Walmart stock was always good up on there. Amazon don't pay dividends, of course, but I didn't have enough to be buying multiple Amazon stocks. Yeah, eBay needs some serious quality of life upgrades for sellers. It's probably up to the seller to figure out their own quality of life. Gated is what stopped me selling on Amazon. eBay was less BS to sell stuff. So listen, with Amazon and the gating thing, right? It's not as difficult as people think, right? When I started selling on Amazon, of course, I was pretty much gated and everything. I never, ever sold books on Amazon, ever. I know people recommend you start selling books, and I never sold I don't sell. I never sold a book. I stopped selling. That was engaged years ago. Then I watched a few channels, figured out how to get ungated in some of the other brands and categories that I need to get ungated in. Found out the suppliers I could use. And I mean, it was a process, yeah, but I was making money from the first time I started listening. I wasn't gated in as much as you would think. Now, I know Amazon changes, and some things that I may not have been gated or that I may not have been gated in back then, who knows? Maybe a seller today would be gated in. I don't know. But I will say this, it's not as difficult as people think. There's a lot of ways these days you can get ungated. And after a while, after you get some selling history, they will auto ungate you in a lot of areas too. For the longest time, I couldn't sell SE nail polish. And, a lot of those nail polishes sell not only super fast, but for a good amount of money on Amazon. Some of them don't, but a lot of them do. But I never had to submit an invoice for that. I ended up getting auto-ungated by Amazon on that, just from selling a lot in that same type of category. And one day I went to scan one, and I didn't see that little bar, that basically told me I was gated. I ain't see it, and I thought I was tripping. I'm like, oh, it's open. I mean, that's happened a few times, man. I mean, but like, it's just not hard, man. And Amazon's been accepting like stuff from, like, for instance, if you, let's say Nike, they've been accepting like invoices from like Nike. So if you go to the Nike website, that's how I got ungated in Lego. I went to the Lego website. I bought 10 units of, I can't remember now because this was years ago. I don't know, keychain or something. I don't know what it was, honestly. But I bought it right off the Lego website. I had to submit it twice, but then I got ungated. It's really not that difficult, man. But here's the thing again, the vision, right? The vision to make the upfront sacrifice for a reward later on. So you have to have vision about where you want your business to go. And sometimes in order to get there, though, you have to be able to sacrifice on the front end because it's worth it on the back end. If you spend a couple $100 on items to get ungated, how many more thousands of dollars is that going to make you? How many more opportunities is that going to open up for you? Hell, if I had to spend $1,000 to get ungated in a super profitable brand or category, I would spend it ASAP. I would spend it ASAP if I could find a distributor or somebody I can buy from. And I wouldn't even care if I made a profit off the stuff that I bought to get on. I would not care. I've done it before. I got it and I just sold it off as a lot or something like that because it was an investment to get ungated because I just wanted to be able to sell in that specific brand or category. And I've made thousands of dollars in those areas. So that little short investment, that small investment, it was nothing. It was nothing. And then next thing you know, you look up a couple years later, man, and you'll be in a place that you never even thought was possible, but you won't get there if you don't want to make that upfront investment. Everything can be like a $2 item at the yard sale, or I don't know. And I ain't saying this specifically for you, NPC, or anybody here in the chat, but some people think too small. They see themselves, they don't see themselves. I ain't trying to get religious on y'all, but there's a verse in the Bible, right? There's something in the Bible, and this is in the Old Testament. And I always think about this because it was something to the effect of like the children of Israel. And I don't remember if they was talking to God, but they said we seem like grasshoppers in our own sight. Like they was comparing themselves to their enemies, right? And they said they seemed like grasshoppers, right? When they compared themselves to them. Look, for you Bible people, I know I'm not getting it 100% right. My main point is this. When they saw the enemy, when they saw the competition, they seemed like grasshoppers to themselves. They saw themselves as being smaller. So if your mentality is that you already see yourself as being smaller, you'll never, ever, ever have a chance to be successful. If you always see the problem and not the solution, you'll never find a solution. I always think of that to myself, man. Like anytime, because I have my own little fears and anxieties and doubts, they come in. But I can't sabotage myself. I can't look at a situation or opportunity or something and think to myself, it's too much work, or I can't do it, or that's for them type of people, or anything negative. The only thing I ask is why not and what I got to do. What do I have to do? Especially if the reward is big enough. And so for Amazon, getting ungated in certain brands and categories, it's worth it, regardless of the obstacles that you got to face on the front end. Sometimes it can be annoying. It can really be annoying. It can cause a lot of anxiety, but it's worth it, man. For the longest time, I wouldn't apply to Walmart for the same thing. I thought it was just like too many steps and stuff. And then finally, I just like, dude, what is you doing? And I did it. And now it's like one of the best things that ever happened to my business, right? So I just never try to have that mentality. The thoughts come there sometimes in certain things, like certain days. I have my own doubts, man. I got things, everybody. I mean, I'm a human being. So, but I never let that drive my decisions. I never let those fears and things like that drive my decisions. I look at the data. I look at the reality. I use logic. And if it makes sense, I take a chance. And I'm a risk taker. Sometimes I win, sometimes I lose, but I win more than I lose. And that's why I'll never be afraid to take a chance, because I don't want to be sitting back wondering what would have happened if I didn't. I love gating less competition, more and higher prices. Yeah, seriously. The thing is, you have to create barriers between you and the competition. You have to shorten or you have to shrink the pool. Shrink the pool. Don't just always try to swim. A lot of people who struggling, it's because they swimming in them red oceans. They're not looking for the blue oceans. You're not looking for the blue oceans with less competition, with no competition. You want to dive into the red oceans where the sharks is at. All the people who got more money than you, people who got more resources than you, people who got more experience than you. You're going to eat a little bit, but it's going to be crumbs. You gotta separate yourself. Every step that you can take in reselling to separate yourself from the competition is going to help your business grow and help your business be a little bit more healthy in the long run. Let's see. See a better system for bundles and multi-order items on eBay. Yeah, they could do a little bit better with that. Well, I would love for eBay to have a better system if you charge for shipping, for like that charge to not have. It's weird, like if you charge everything, because I used to charge for shipping for everything, and it just got so annoying. I was just like, I'm not doing this, man. You gotta send an invoice, and man, I feel like it should be a little bit easier, but they don't have to deal with it, so why would they? Yes, eBay's losing both, but they're probably losing more buyers than sellers. Sellers are coming onto the platform more and more, and buyers are leaving more and more. And I would venture to say that more buyers are leaving than sellers are coming. Probably. Bundles on Poshmark and Macari are so simple. Um, for the little bit of time I sold on Poshmark, it was easy for bundles, but I had a very short Poshmark career. Talk about online garage sales, Macari. Yeah, Macari's a hard one, man. You got to know what to put on there. And I only use Macari for when I got a bunch of a certain type of item and I just want it to be everywhere so I can try to get rid of it. But I would never look at Macari as a viable option for. But I think certain items could do well, man. Probably like sneakers. Yeah, I feel like Macari is just like an offload platform, where you're just looking to offload some stuff. And if you make some money, you do, but you ain't really like worried about it. You just want to get rid of it. I have a lot of social anxiety. I won't send messages to sellers and won't request invoices. A lot of people got a lot of social anxiety, Maya. And for some reason, it seems even more prevalent. I used to notice that when I worked in restaurants as a manager. I've never come across so many people with anxiety problems in my life, man, ever. And some were worse than others, but I mean, it was a real thing. And honestly, there was times when I was a little insensitive, but I had to learn how to kind of take it serious because I'm not really like that, right? I'm not like a super extrovert either, but like I don't really get super anxious and. And so I always would think like, how if something don't bother you, you'll be like, man, you tripping. Why you? But I had to stop doing that and kind of like empathize a little bit, especially as a manager, because people said I was insensitive. You don't want to go through sensitivity training. I see that Carl and NPC is still talking about that quality of life thing you said. Has to be some way to make the menus work faster and more efficiently. I don't know about the eBay listing process for the type of platform that of course it ain't faster than Amazon and Walmart, but that's because they got catalogs and they got parent listings that everybody kind of sell on. To have that control over a listing when you selling the types of items that most eBay sellers sell, it's probably good. I don't think I really have an issue besides the glitches that come and go. I don't really have an issue with the way eBay has listings set up. I mean, all the item specifics that can be annoying. They probably don't need that so much, but to be able to control your listings on eBay the way that you can, I think it's a good thing. I like that. But there's probably a few things they could tweak. Freya, I sold on Amazon about 10 years ago. I've been thinking about giving it another try. Give it another try, Freya. Give it another try. Get back on there. Figure out what you want to sell. Give it a try. Trust me, it's going to be helpful. It's going to be helpful. My Ed, I was thinking and watching a lot of Lindy's videos. She got taken by a bunch of scam artists. Oh, you've been watching, I'm thinking. Been watching. Yeah. No, I saw that. I've been following her story. Like I said, though, I was just looking at her last video about her having to shut down sooner than she had expected. And I was just thinking, like, at least she took a chance. You know what I mean? Look, things happen, man. But she took the chance. And I'm sure she'll figure out, like, where she want to go and what she want to do as far as her personal business goes. But somebody like that don't just, like, that can be deflating to for something like that you put so much effort into to end the way it did. I could only imagine the feeling. But somebody like her, man, she's not going to let that stop her. And so that's commendable as far as I'm concerned. That's commendable. And that's all I'm saying. Win, lose, or draw, man, you gotta take a shot. You gotta take a shot. Find out as much as you can. Maybe find some people with some experience in whatever the endeavor is that you want to take part in, and then go for it, bro. Go for it. And maybe it don't work out right the first time. But how many times have you heard stories of entrepreneurs who it was the first time, second time, or the 10th time? Maybe it's that 11th. Maybe I feel like the more you put yourself in opportunity's way, the higher the chance that you're going to get that big opportunity. But you have to put yourself on the path. And sometimes you'll trip on the path. Sometimes you'll fall on the path, and there will be no sign of opportunity. It's only failure, right? But you get back up and you keep walking on the path. And eventually, it's going to come, but you can't remove yourself off the path, because if you take yourself off the path, you'll definitely not have the opportunity. The opportunity it's not going to come your way if you're not on a path. You're going to always come across certain people, man, eventually who know somebody, or who know of this, who can give you a piece of information that'll help you, or just that one deal. But if you're not putting yourself in opportunity's way, you'll never get the opportunity. You'll never get it. You can't stick to one thing, man. You can't stick to one thing and be afraid to do something else, especially if the one thing is making you millions and millions. Please, by all means, stick to it. But if you're struggling, you got to try something else. Put yourself on the path of opportunity. It'll get you. Yeah, definitely too many item specifics, Carl, for sure. My son Grow, that's why I do not really watch reseller streamers much anymore. Watching others have problems really messes with the mindset and focus on your own personal business. It can, especially if you watch the negative ones. If you watch the doom and gloomers, I call them the doom and gloomers. It's always a damn problem, man. Don't nobody want to hear that. Don't nobody want to hear that. I can't do it. I'm polluting my spirit watching that. I can't pollute my spirit like that. Yeah, you got. Yep, I got 9 kids, man. 9 of them. I must have did something real bad in the previous life. No, I'm just playing. Nah, they blessings. They blessings. Stuff people searching on. Where we at? Hour 15. We're gonna get ready to end this, y'all. I appreciate everybody joining. What's up, Josh? Been thinking about trying new shipping. I like your videos too, bro. I like it. You're another bookseller. I don't know how y'all do it. Much respect. I don't know how y'all do it, man. And cheaper than pirate ship for me for some reason. Check out Vico too, man. Check out Vico, Josh. You look like you sell a lot, so you could probably save some money. Now, I'm a proponent of Vico after Mike been telling me about it for like 3 months. Ping G, how you doing? I ain't seen you in a minute, Ping. Hope everything is well. Midwest Picker, what's up? I don't know if you're talking to me about that, but I don't use none of those apps. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I just don't. And if any of y'all, I know I've seen people in other chats before I end this who asked about cross-posting apps for Amazon. I don't know if Vendoo do it because I don't know if anything about Vendoo. But there's a website named Autiva, Autiva, I want to say. I used to use that when I was only selling on eBay and Amazon. I used to use that website to cross-post between eBay and Amazon. And it's an easy process, and it updates the orders for you. You can create the listings in that app if you want, and you can push the listings. It ain't just eBay and Amazon either. There's other platforms you can cross-post to. But if those of you out there who might be looking for it, of course, depending on how many listings you got and things like that, the price might go up a little bit. I think I was using the $50 a month package, and it was I never had a problem with it. It updated my orders when they sold on one or the other platforms, and it worked well. So the name of it is Autiva. Let me see if I can bring it up for y'all real quick. I actually still use it, but just because it gives me like the banners in my eBay eBay listings. That's the only reason I kind of use it now. But there's a lot you can do with it. It's a really good app for it, especially if you want to cross post between eBay and Amazon. Here, I'll share this real quick. All right, here we go. Right here. This is the website. You can go to pricing, and this is their packages. They got the startup, and it's free to get on there. Sometimes the image thing is what kind of gets you, but it just depends on how many you got. I was on the standard $49.99. You get to save 1,000 SKUs, 5 gigabytes image hosting. It was more than enough, and I had a couple thousand. I had a couple thousand items when I was doing this, and it was cool. And so you see, you got eBay, Amazon, and Marketplace, and the bigger packages includes these. I don't really know nobody who sells on Kroger, Overstock, and all of those, but Walmart's on here. I didn't even know Walmart. I don't think Walmart was on there when I was using this app, so that's new. But that's the $99 a month package. But for those of you who are wondering, or who I've heard ask that question in other chats, that's the place. It's a good app. Works out really well. But that's about it, guys. I am going to get out of here. As always, I do appreciate y'all investing your time and coming to listen to me ramble on. I hope that in some way I've been able to give y'all some information that might help you out as far as your business goes and how to grow it. I really encourage y'all, man. Don't just consume reseller content. Go out and listen to some other things. Listen to things that's going on in the economy. Keep an eye on what's going on with with the business sector and in different industries, because those things will help you make better decisions when it comes to your own business. If you see a lot of other industries and a lot of other companies doing a certain thing, ask yourself why they're doing that. Because if they're doing it, they got the money. So they got softwares and they got analytics that's telling them what's coming. So if they starting to do it, by the time it get down to the small guy and the small guy go to make adjustment, it's already too late. It's already too late. So if you can be keen enough to pick up on it when other companies is doing it and you can start making changes, you'll be ahead of all the other people that don't pay attention to that stuff, because by the time it hit them, it's going to be over for them. It's going to be over for them. But anyway, having said that, thank you. Appreciate it. And I will be on again, God willing, next Wednesday. I don't got really nothing planned. I was busy last week, so I just had to focus on what I had to do. But thanks again, y'all. And y'all have a good night. All right. Thank you.